Hi there, welcome. Welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friend. Hope you're having a wonderful day and that you're enjoying the blessing of the Lord on your home. This program is all about homes, homekeepers, and it's not housekeepers or anything like that. I'm talking about keeping that home intact, and the most important part of the home are the people in it. And so if you've got some harmony there and some joy and some peace, you got a great home. Keep it that way. And I also think about the way the culture is affecting the home, and it is so degrading. Some of it is just beyond speech, really. And you've got to keep your home from those things. So you put a guard around it. And so it's pretty important business today, more so than any time in my lifetime. And we like to be the ones to remind you of that. I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Robin Bertram. She's been here before. We're going to talk about her book, Hidden Treasures, and you might be surprised how she defines a treasure. I'm glad to have her back. And I'm going to join Stephanie in the kitchen for some cheddar potato chowder. I was thinking this sounds like a fall recipe, and that if I could live my life over, I'll be honest with you, when I go home at night, I'll by myself and I just try to cook something healthy or fix whatever we have. But if I were fixing for family, I might, you know, categorize my recipes into winter, spring, summer, fall. I would call this one a fall recipe. We'll see what Stephanie thinks about this. Before I join her, though, I want to again remind you of devotions for difficult times. And the reason I'm doing this is because I am a devotional person. I think maybe watching my mother and dad read Streams in the Desert, that's an old one. From the time I was a little girl, I still have a copy of that. But since that time, a lot of wonderful devotionals come out, but there's nothing quite like this one. Maybe the topic doesn't just thrill you, devotions for difficult times, but a lot of difficult times. I don't know the author here. His name is Ed Strauss, but he really have thought of every difficult time maybe known to man or whatever experience people might have with difficulty, but I believe it's in here. And he found Bible verses, and he had words of encouragement for you. I don't think you just want this book. I think you need it. And we're offering it to you for any amount. It's up to you. Our 800 number there, that's 1-800-229-0059. And the address, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758. And we will get it out to you. And really appreciate everything you do for the show. We wouldn't be here without you. And I've joined Stephanie over here. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Have you ever had difficult times? The whole audience.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows her difficult times. Everything from your finances to your health and all that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it because that way we know we're all on the same page as the human race.
Just a little update. I'm a year and a half out from my cancer.
Yes. Okay, come on.
Yes.
That's where it's
getting great
Susan's
reports.
raising her hands, but we wanted you to applaud. So anyway, but she's been weeping profusely because you stepped on the scales. You told them that already.
I did. I went to the doctor last week, and I got on the scale, and I cried. I'm not going to lie to you. And the nurse was like, and then she took my blood pressure. I'm like, this is not going to be good.
And this is such a woman thing. I'm sorry, but she got this great report.
And then I cry because I stepped on the scale. I can't help it.
Put on a couple pounds. Okay, what are you doing?
Okay, so I have 2 cups of milk, and I made a little slurry so that it wouldn't cook the flour.
Yeah.
Okay, and
but it's actually kind of a roux, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and there's no fat in here, so kind of not a roux. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting this heat up a little bit. I have 2 cups of red potato that we chopped up, cup of carrot, some celery, some onion. Well, what do you know? This is thickening up. And 2 cups of water, okay? And we parboiled the vegetables so that we can speed cook.
And how much ham do they want? 1 cup. We can guess at it, right?
So I'm going to just put all, this is just a dump everything in. And
or we'll just put all the ham in.
Yeah, let's put all the ham in.
There's a lot of flavor there.
Yeah. This is really an interesting soup.
Have you ever, I know that you've mentioned you know, the right season for a recipe? Don't you think this would be kind of fall?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
yes. Definitely. Let's do salt and pepper. These sleeves, I'm going to learn one of these days that these sleeves are not for cooking or doing dishes, I found out this morning. So
I found that out
I can sit at my desk with these sleeves. That's about it. So salt and pepper. And now I'm just going to put the carrots, which again, we parboiled. If you just want to throw them all in at the beginning,
Well, yes,
boil.
because of the program, but
Yeah, because we're
might
speed
want to
cooking.
just follow the recipe.
Celery. Onions.
Onions.
A little flavor there. And then I'm going to put in the best part, a ton of cheese. Thank you.
Yes, and if you think that needs a little more liquid, would you put milk in it or water or something?
If it were me at home, I would put in chicken broth.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, for a little more flavor. But if you don't want, if you want it to be completely vegetarian, which, let's see, what does this have in it? It has milk. I don't know the whole vegetarian vegan thing, but you could definitely put water or milk, yes.
Ooh, that's a meal.
It looks
it's really
so good.
Yeah.
It looks a lot better than I
think we're putting
anticipated.
in more ham than it called for, but
You can never go wrong. Come
what
on.
can you say? Yes.
More cheese and more ham. It's always a good thing.
That's like the 11th commandment.
Look at that. It's kind of pretty. So you want to let this cook for a while. You know, it says 12 minutes. Let everything soften up. A little bit longer if you could. But I'm going to let you taste it because we have a great guest to get to.
Well, and we tell you that the reason she does not taste is not because she wouldn't like it, but because she would walk out of here with the whole pan.
It's all or nothing with Stephanie. That's
So-
it. I know me. It looks so good.
Oh, there's my lunch.
It's so good, right? It's ridiculous how super simple this was.
Yes, and we always tell our guests, if you do good, we'll give you something to eat.
Oh.
So I will tell Robin it'll be worth it if you really do good, okay? The recipe is coming up on your screen, or the information and the way you can get it. It's absolutely free. Email's the best, but there's other ways you can get it. We'll be glad to get it right out to you now. Stay with me and meet Robin.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Robin just told me she loves to cook.
I do.
Hey, next time you come,
I'll do it.
be my guest.
I would
okay?
love that.
My mom was born in England, and don't anybody get mad at me. She really fixed great fried potato or fried chicken, and also pies and things. She was a good cook, but she didn't think she was. But if you think of the English, you don't think of cooking. And so I always said, my family ate in order to live. I married a man from Arkansas, and his mom was a Southern cook. They lived to eat.
Yes, yes.
You talk about a couple of Southern women eating a piece of lemon pie. It's almost a spiritual experience. So,
It is.
so what's your favorite?
My family loves my French onion soup. It's a
you're on.
must.
You
It's
are
at
on.
every celebration we have French onion
Okay,
soup.
you're on. But I want to welcome Robin Bertram. She is an author, a speaker, and has a prayer ministry. And her newest book, Hidden Treasures, and we're going to talk about that today. Talk to me about your prayer ministry. How does that work?
Well, Arthelene, years ago, when I first really got called into ministry, people would call out of the blue. It would be in the middle of the night or after dinner, and they would call and ask if I would come pray with them. It happened so frequently that I was finding myself on this circuit, basically, praying for families. My pastor said, "Why in the world don't you move your prayer ministry into the church and let them come to you?" And it was a wonderful idea, and the prayer ministry grew from just myself and another lady to we had about I think about 14 people praying all through the week from like 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. People would come from all over the county for prayer. And it was really amazing to watch the lives being radically changed through prayer.
I was just thinking, what a compliment. There was something about your life that people would ask you to pray for them. There are some people, you wouldn't dream of asking them to pray for you because you might think they might not have that much experience in it.
It was a blessing, a tremendous blessing, and I learned so much from the Lord during that time, 30 years ago.
Well, I can't think of anything more interesting. Now, this book really goes kind of along with this book.
It does. It does.
That I was talking about. Tell me how you came up with this subject matter.
30 some years ago, when I was first called into prayer ministry, the Lord placed in my life 3 different families. A young child, a man in his mid-30s with 4 children under the age of 11, and a senior. And I walked with these families through about 3 years of their life as they faced terminal illness. And so about maybe 10 years ago, I was at the altar, and I remember it so vividly because I've never experienced the clarity of God's voice as I did this day. I got up from the altar from that church in Burlington, and the Lord really spoke to my heart, and he showed me the 3 faces, and he said, I want you to write about everything you learned from these families and put it in a book. And so that was the basis, that time of prayer at the altar. And when I really started to think about it, I thought, well, that's interesting because you have every aspect of you cover such a broad spectrum, young, middle-aged, and then an older person, how they face the tragedies that come in life, what their needs are. And so I wrote the book basically as much for the family as for the individual. Because what I saw, so many families, they didn't know where to turn. They didn't know, they had all these questions, but no one could give them solid answers. The individual would feel alone and struggling. And so when I looked at it, I thought, my goodness, there's so much there. So the Lord really prompted my heart to sit down and get busy and write this book. And I did. I finally got it completed.
Well, first of all, I think there was something about your life or in your life that people had the confidence to come and ask you to pray. A lot of times when I'm praying, I remind myself, so I tell God, thank you for hearing me.
Yes.
Thank you that we have the confidence. You know, when Jesus stood outside of Lazarus' tomb, he said, I thank you that you hear me. He did hear him, and Lazarus came right out of the tomb. Sometimes I think we get on just rote and forget that on the other end there is a prayer answering God, and we can be confident that He hears us.
Yes, I spent an entire chapter on that very principle, the pearl of great price, because when you're struggling, when you're going through a period of hardship, the first thing you ask is, God, do you even care? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you hear my prayers? Why aren't you doing something? And so our challenge is to understand that a sovereign God does care. He does hear, Arthelene. He hears our cries in the middle of the night. He understands our pain better than we understand our pain. And when we start to study the nature and the character of God, that's when we can embrace Him as a loving Father who is going to get us through whatever challenges that our life brings.
Everything for our highest good.
Yes, isn't that beautiful?
We forget that. We want to settle for something that is so temporary and so mundane. Really, the greatest treasures come out of the pain. I'm no great person. No one knows that better than I do, but I would hate to know me without knowing what I've been through.
Yes, yes.
I've been on the floor, and both my kids have had cancer, and one of them's got a kidney transplant, and my husband took his life, and you know, dum 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 dum, and in every one of it, God is that refining fire. He sees the end result. We only see the temporary.
Absolutely. A couple of years ago, I went through my own health challenge where I was faced with a very serious illness. And the Lord prompted a question in my heart. And it was this. It was, Robin, do you believe what you've taught for the last 30 years?
Good question.
Oh, my goodness. So in the book, I take the reader through a time of introspection where they look inward, then they look outward, and then they look upward. And I did that specifically because I know in my own journey, I had to start with me, Arthelene. What do I really believe? And when the Lord prompted that question, I went through about 2 months of very serious introspection. And it's a time when you have to decide, God, what if you don't answer the prayer the way I want it answered?
According to my will.
Yes, yes. And that's a real challenge. Are you still going to love God? Are you still going to believe that He's faithful? Are you going to believe that He's a good God even when you're struggling? Because He is, and He does have our best interest in His heart over our own will.
I was going through some of the things. In this book, you have a good list of things that cause you to think, and I couldn't write down all of them, but I did some. And that is to value what God values. We value wonderful marriage and healthy kids and a lot of money and nice car, nice house. That's not exactly God's list.
No, no, it's not. I really feel strongly about that statement because I feel like if we learn to value what God values, we in turn will be valued because we'll understand the depths of His love. What does He care about? He cares that none should perish. You know, so we should all be evangelists. We might not have the gift of evangelism, but we need to share the good news of the gospel.
Good stuff.
Everyone has a decision to make. Do you want to enter into life or do you want to continue into death? Because until we have Jesus in our heart, there is no life.
If you've just joined me, I'm talking to the author of this very lovely cover of this book, Hidden Treasures. Her name is Robin Bertram, and the information's on the screen. You can get the book through that. And I think it's a wonderful book if you want to grow in the Lord. And I find the older I get, you do begin to value what He values.
Yes.
And I think in terms of music most of the time and lyrics. And Stuart Hamblin, I don't know if you remember him, but he's an old cowboy who wrote great songs. And he said, the things of earth will dim and lose their value.
Yes.
If we recall, they're borrowed for a while.
Yes.
And things of earth that cause the heart to tremble. Can you imagine the trembling hearts in America?
Beautiful.
Remembered there will only bring a smile. Now, if we could get that kind of thinking into us while we're here.
Yeah, and that is the point of the book.
Exactly.
It is the very point of the book to start looking at God working in the midst of our own struggles. He's there. We are not alone. And I think when you go through life's challenges, oftentimes you do feel alone. But when you know the character of God, He is with us through those times. What beautiful gift.
Another one of the points you made, give up what is rightly yours.
Yes.
Hello, America. Everybody's offended in America.
Yes.
You have no right to talk to me like that. You know, and I should have that. And now we've got some politicians running around saying everybody ought to have everything, and you people who work ought to pay for it, and it's rightly mine. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Absolutely. That's such an important point because Jesus gave up His own life so that we could have life. There's no greater gift He could have given us. We tend to hold on to things that we do think is important. I think about Moses, and he could have had the riches of Egypt, yet he gave them up. I think about Abraham, who gave up his son. He laid his son on that altar to sacrifice. And Jesus, God gave back to him the very thing he had to give up.
Yeah, he left it.
And so God wants better for us if we will just be willing to let go and release the things that hold us captive in this earth. Money doesn't matter, wealth does not matter, position does not matter, and we can model after Jesus and see the power in that willingness to surrender.
Yes, and that was the word I was going for next. Boy, you never hear of that anymore.
No.
Surrender is it's a heavy word when you really think about it. I'm afraid the percentage of Christians who have any clue about that is pretty small.
It is. And part of that is because we learn that a protective it's more where we feel like we are protecting ourselves when we're in control. You know, if we're in control, we feel safe some way, but that's really not the way it is. When we relinquish control and say, your will be done, Father, that's when we walk in the biggest blessings, because God knows better than we know for our own lives. And surrender takes work. It takes our willingness to be humble and relinquish that control over to the Lord. But when we do, blessings abound.
Now maybe something we've worked for a long time, and as we're making this program, there's these horrible fires in Northern California.
Yes.
And to me, that's almost a metaphor. You're standing there seeing those people who've lost everything. And Jesus called us to give up everything.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I remember a time I was working as an optometric. I worked in an optometric practice as a manager. And I remember driving home from work that day. My children were babies, and the Lord said, I want you to go home and know me. And it was such a time I thought, give up my job, give up my career, what I've worked for all these years.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest decision I had ever made. But I know that when the Lord prompted my heart and I did that, we were blessed beyond belief. And it was a time that I could raise my children. I could be at home, homemakers, doing exactly what the Lord had asked me to do.
Yeah, but that's still tough.
It is tough.
I don't remember anything in the scripture from Jesus to the Apostle Paul who said it's going to be easy.
Exactly.
And I've been in this a long time. We've got just a little time left. What about Olivia, who was abused by her father?
Oh my goodness, that was a beautiful time in prayer. The Lord had led me to pray with this precious woman, and she had suffered so deeply. She was a believer, but most of her life she walked under condemnation, feeling unloved because of her father was an abusive person. And the Lord gave me a vision when I was praying. I saw a little girl in the corner crouched over just in terror and fear. And when the woman had not confessed that she had been abused, but I shared that vision with her, and she broke and she cried and she saw herself. She saw herself, and she decided to forgive her father. At that very day, her life was radically changed. She could feel God the Father love her for the first time in her life because she decided to simply forgive her father for being abusive.
You are giving me goosebumps.
I loved it.
Well, it's so true.
Yes.
And we have a father deficit in this nation.
Yes, we do.
And if we could grasp and really truly believe that we do have a Heavenly Father, and of course you go into forgiveness.
Yes.
A lot. It's very, very key.
It is key.
Very key to moving forward. And you know what? It's not for the other person.
It's for you.
For me.
Oh, yes, if we could understand that that's our blessing. And it really is. We are to forgive because we've been forgiven. What a beautiful thing.
Well, even psychologists and studies will tell you when you forgive, you're getting right on the right track, even for your own body. Not just
it's
for your
physical.
emotions and mind, but for your own body. Well, I really do, encourage you to get this book. We've had the website up. You can get it through that. And we've barely touched on the subject matter in this book. If you think, well, you didn't talk about my situation, I think if you get the book, you'll find your situation there. And I really do appreciate you coming and appreciate your ministry. We could use more prayer ministries like this. So, you know, when you talk to people who are in trouble, you tell them, I'll be praying for you about this situation, and I'm telling you, God will come in. Well, you stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Let me again remind you we're offering this, I think, a very important little booklet, Devotions for Difficult Times, and we've talked about it earlier in the show, but this is for any gift to the ministry. And so whatever the Lord lays on your heart, just send it. We will send you this book. I think that it will be very valuable to you, maybe in the future, maybe even looking in the past for some of the difficult things you've gone to. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. The 800 number's on your screen, as well as the address. You know, I once heard what I would call a misguided minister say that when praying for healing, do not pray, not my will, but thine be done. Because to his way of thinking, that's a cop-out. Actually, we should insist on healing. I wonder if that preacher remembers that Jesus himself, while in great anguish, petitioned his Father with those same words. Helen Steiner Rice wrote the following, and I believe her theology to be more accurate. She wrote, God has not promised skies always blue, flower-strewn pathways all our lives through. God has not promised sun without rain, joy without sorrow, peace without pain. And God has not promised that we shall not know toil and temptation, trouble and woe. He has not told us we would not bear many a burden, many a care. But God has promised strength for the day, rest from the labor, light for the way, grace for the trials and help from above, unfailing kindness, undying love. You know, I've been through a lot of heartache and loss in my own life, and I know this to be true. So you think about it. And please remember, friend, there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.